Hi everyone, it's Robin and welcome back to Happy at Home. Today I have a very quick and easy, very fun project to share with you. I don't really know what to call it. I can't decide if I should call it a pedestal or if I should call it a platform. So let me show you a quick clip of the finished product and you tell me what I should call it because I have no clue. Here you go. So that is the project that we're going to make today. I have made a similar one to this, probably 3 years ago, and I'm constantly using it around my house. I'm stealing it from one display to use in a different display. So I'm finally like, you know what, I should just make another one. It is a quick and easy project, and I absolutely love using these because anything you put on top of it just seems to be so much more special, and it just kind of, I don't know, I don't know how it makes a big difference, but to me, it does. I like the layered effect that you get when you use a platform or something like this, or a tray, or, you know, that sort of thing. So this is very fun for me, so I'm excited to share how to make it with you. So let's get started. To get started on this project, first we're going to need to start with some wood. I have 2 pieces of wood. It is a 1" by 4" pine boards. I've cut them to 23.5 inches long, and I have 2 of those. Next, I cut some 1 by 2" boards, 6 inches long, and I have 3 of those. To cut the wood, I used this saw. I don't know what it is called. This is an 18-volt circular saw. Cordless. Love this thing. Alright, so then when we're in the process of cutting our wood, you'll need a measuring tape, a pencil to mark your lines, and also I used a ruler. This is just my quilt ruler. That always comes in handy. So then we will also need a little bit of sandpaper. And then for the building process, basically we need some nails. These are just finished nails. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but they're about 1" long nails, and a hammer. That is all we need for the building part of this project. Then, once we're done building, we're going to want to stain, and I'm using this stain in the color Cherry by Minwax. And then I have a little popsicle stick to stir my stain up with. And then a latex glove to protect my skin when I'm staining. And then to actually do the staining, I'm using just a piece of cut up t-shirt. Once the stain is dry, then it comes the paint. I'll need some latex. This is a semi-gloss by Ultra, which is a Pittsburgh paint. I purchased this at Menards. And then I'll need a paintbrush. And the color for this, I do not have a color because it's a custom mix, but it's basically just a creamy white. So that is basically what you're going to need for this project. And as you can tell, I have my surface covered with a drop cloth. So let's get started. Alright, so first things first, what we're going to want to determine is the top of our project. So you just want to look at the wood and make sure that you get some pieces that you want on top. So this one has got like a pretty good knot in it. So I want to make sure that that's on the inside of my project and not like on the outside. So I'm going to make sure that this is on the inside here. And basically we're just going to line it up how we want it. And make sure that it is good to go. I don't want to go over that though. Okay, so we have our boards placed the way we want them, and then what we're going to do is just kind of sort of pick them up a little bit. We're going to work on one side of this at a time. So just take one of the boards and place the bottom side on it. So I'm just positioning the feet kind of 1" in from the end So you really can't see it, but it's there underneath there. And then 1 inch from the side and 1 inch from the end. And then basically what we're going to do is take our nail and our hammer and we're going to pound it in. Pretty simple. So I'm just going to leave one. So it's going to look like this on the back. So I'm going to give this one another nail, kind of kitty corner from where the first one was, right about here. And then you can see it's not going anywhere. It's not going to wiggle or anything. So then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. And we're going to want to position the foot about 1 inch in and from both the side and the end. Can't really see that. So both from the side and from the end. That's about right. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to take our nail and nail it on. Alright, so now we have our 2 feet, and then we're going to center this last one right in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect because you're really not going to see it. It's more of a support brace. That's about right. You want to make sure when you're doing this that the ones on the end sticking out are pretty even. Doesn't have to be perfect once again. We're just eyeballing stuff here. And then once again, we're giving it 2 nails. Alright, so there you go. We now have the top and we've got the legs, and I used a total of 6 nails. So then all we're going to do is sort of, well, I'll just keep it like this. Then we're going to place our second board on top. You can add as much of a gap between the two that you would like. I'm going to kind of give it more of a gap than I normally would. And then we're going to just nail it down just like before. So once you get the one end done, you're going to want to go to the other end, so then you can make sure that you kind of got the board the same spacing all the way down. And I'm not measuring it, I'm just going to eyeball it because that's just the kind of the project it is. And you want to make sure too while you're doing this that that they're pretty flush, that not one side's not up higher than the other. This is looking pretty good. So, the last thing to do is the middle. So just kind of feel underneath where it is with your fingers on the bottom underneath. So you can kind of figure out where to put the nail. So that is basically it. You've just built your little pedestal. Looks like this on the bottom. And then this is what it looks like on top. Very nice. Now I made mine, I didn't line up any of my nails. Like you could go straight across and nice little pattern. But I wanted it to look more rustic. Not that it's really going to show up when you're done. But I like to stagger them on the board underneath so that they're not all in a line. I just think it's more secure that way. So anyways, so now the building part is done. How simple was that? It took seriously less than 5 minutes. So now we do the sanding. You want to take out your sandpaper, give it a good sanding, make sure the edges are all smooth and you have no splinters or anything sticking up. So that is the next step. Alright, so then you'll want to wipe down, make sure there's no dust remaining. And then we're ready to move on to the staining. This is the fun part. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get our stain ready to go. I'm going to put my glove on first here. And then we'll mix up the stain. Give the stain a stir. Alright, so I'm just going to start on the back side of my project because I would like the bottom side to be stained as well. So I'm just going to give it a stain. Alright, so the one coat of stain is done. It's not as dark as I would like it, so I am going to let it sit for about 20 minutes and then I'm going to give it another coat. Alright, so I have finished staining and I let it sit overnight and now I'm ready to paint. And then of course I've got my paintbrush and my paint. So basically what we're going to do is dry brush on the paint. Alright, so basically I'm going to let this set up for a little bit so it's not as dark. So let this dry for about 5-10 minutes because it dries really fast because I put such a thin layer of paint on it. And then I'm going to start sanding off some of the color. Alright, so I have let this dry pretty well and now I'm just going to take a little piece of sandpaper that I've folded in half. I'm just going to go along and sand where I want the stain color to show through. I'm really going to distress the edges a lot, probably a little more than I would like to, but that is what's going to be showing the most when I am doing this, because on top of the platform there's going to be a lot of items, so the edging is the most important part, I think. Alright, so there you go. Looks a little like that, and of course I'll give you a close-up view when I have it set up with the decor that I want to use on it. But yeah, I think it turned out really cute. Very simple. You can see a better view right there. Super simple. Seriously, it takes just putsy with the painting, but the rest of it goes super fast. So there you go, and I will show you how I have used it next.